on, guys. Give me 1 second to get this situated a little bit for you. Are we good? As long as I'm not upside down on you, I'm going to be happy. Let me get this plugged in. We're going to let a few people go ahead and trickle on in here. I want to make sure that we got everyone on board. Let me get my brightness up a little bit so I can see what's going on. I'm going to clean glasses while I wait for you guys to get in here. What's going on, guys? We're going to let a few more people get in here, and then we're going to get rocking and rolling on this. Can you hear me okay? Is there anything that I can do to try and sound? I got sound issues already. Here, I'll tell you what. Let's do this. Let's get fancy, okay? Because I've actually got something I can do to fix this. Hold on. Mic check, mic check. Oh, I'm so unbelievably sorry for that. Can you guys hear me better through this mic? Yeah, let's get a little fancy. I just unfortunately don't have a good way to prop it up just yet. Give me 1 second. So if I can get this propped up, we might be home free tonight. I'm the worst human being alive for doing that. I apologize greatly. That is excellent. Okay, let's get some of this pushed back. How does this audio quality sound? We have a Rode external mic. Quick rundown. Where's my lens at? Let me give you a quick rundown on what happened. I was trying to use the main internet. Completely crashed me 10 minutes before the stream started. Typical Spectrum BS. They've gone ahead and done me a great service. They credited me a full $8.42. So I know we have a lot of time and money tied up in this production, but no worries, guys. I am going to go out and buy me a value meal after the show is over, and I am pumped. $8.42, right in the pocket. But today's show, today is the Sunday Reseller Roundup for May 3rd, 2020. It's going to be a wonderful show. We have a whole lot of things that we need to cover today. We're going to be talking about the eBay shareholder call and what it means to you. We're also going to have a talk about eBay managed payments and some of the massive changes that are coming. They didn't do exactly what they said they were going to do. And because of that, we need to kind of tear things apart and let you know what you need to know moving forward. On top of that, we're going to have a little bit of practical training. We're going to talk about that audit, part 2 of the audit. And while we're at it, I'm also going to be monitoring things in the background. Maybe we can go back to the mainstream at some point. That would be really, really nice. But for the time being, we're going to do this, and we're going to wrap things up. You know what? I can't actually show you hot bolo list that got released this week by eBay. So we might have a separate video for that tomorrow to be able to get you all the information that you need. Look at that. I'm put together now. Now we can actually have a real show. If you missed out on last week's show, we talked about eBay's new CEO, Jamie Iannone. And here's a confusing little bit of information. I don't understand why, but on the shareholder call, he was introduced as Jamie Iannone. But during the Web Summit 2008, I believe it was, the first time he had a video appearance, he was introduced as Jamie Iannone instead of Iannone. So, I don't know. We're going to we'll call him and we'll figure out what his actual name is when we get an opportunity. Guys, if you missed that show, it's a good one. But we also did part 1, how to audit your eBay store and the things that you need to know to be able to actually boost your sales revenue. We're going to be covering some of those things today because they're somewhat important. I'm pulling up my backup stream here so that way I'm able to monitor it and I'll be able to see the comments at the exact same time. But thank you to everyone who was patient enough to see. We'll get lucky and things will come back. It looks like we're having a little bit of frame rate issues here too. I am running on a cell phone connection for the time being, but let me pull up my internet speed tester so that way I can run my test every now and then just to see if things are actually fixed up. So if you guys haven't been following, I'm sorry, I got a test running. 3 megabytes up. Let's move forward a little bit. There's certain parts of the show that I have to skip because I don't have the slides or I don't have the video for it. and I got a 1-800 number calling me. I would like to thank our two newest patrons. We have new patron, Louise, $5 patron, and Christopher, a $20 patron. If you guys wouldn't mind doing me a favor, send me a message on Facebook and I'll get in touch with you guys and get you plugged in to start receiving your perks. When you do it through Patreon, I don't always have the best opportunity to be able to get a hold of you. First thing we're going to talk about this week is eBay's shareholder call. And I understand they're not really fun, they're not really exciting to listen to, but there is some important information, some tidbits that you need to know. We've said this before. Understanding how strong and how well the company that you are selling with, or the company that is essentially your boss, and they're also your boss now and ever before with the implementation of managed payments, it's important to know how they're doing. Now, this time around, we actually had Scott Schenkel, who's interim CEO. Yeah, I know. It'd be great if he was calling me. We had Scott Schenkel, interim CEO. He was on the line. He's basically wrapping up his job. Old boy's going to be stepping out the door and making space for Jamie Iannone, who was also on the call. One of the first things that they touched base on was all of the things that they're doing regarding COVID to try and benefit buyers, sellers, and just the community as a whole. And one of the things that they mentioned firstly was blocking and quickly removing items that had things like false health claims, offers of products at inflated prices, yada, yada, yada. And they actually said that they removed 15 million items from the platform, which was a surprisingly large number. If you guys didn't watch CNN today, apparently we just learned today that China may have downplayed the severity of the virus. Go figure. And I'm actually really thrilled to hear that conspiracy theorists like myself were vindicated just a touch by the fact that there's a lot of really strong evidence to uh, 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 confirm the fact that the virus came out of a lab inside of Wuhan. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see. Now, beyond that, with the 15 million listings removed, kind of played a part into their revenue as well. Revenue was down 2% year over year, and this also includes the fact that StubHub also sold recently $4.1 billion. I believe it sold to Viviago is the name of the company. They had the numbers jammed into this one, and the whole thing kind of got bundled together. Now, they did state that there was an uptick in buyers. And I guess theoretically, sure, if we're going to use a 12-month metric, you can say that the buyer pool is up over 12 months. But if we actually look over the last 4 quarters, and I actually challenged Jordan Sweetnam himself. I had an opportunity to speak with him on Facebook the other day. He's the eBay North Americans market, the voice for that market. And I challenged him. I said, hey, GMV has been down, buyer pool has been down. And then they gave me the classic counter. Well, if you look at it over 12 months, we're actually up right now. But the reality is they're not. They've been at 174 million active buyers over the last 3 quarters, haven't seen an improvement Q3 of 2019. Now, an active buyer is anyone who's bought something over the last 12 months, whether that sale was completed or not. So if I go on there and I buy a keychain and I never pay the person, I'm considered an active buyer. Really frustrating to hear those types of metrics being used to determine what an active buyer is. I think 12 months, if I had a customer who came to my shop 12 months ago 11 months ago, 10 months ago, and they bought something from me, I'm not going to go around saying, oh, yeah, no, he's one of my customers. I haven't seen him in 10 months. Not one of my customers, okay? GMV as a whole, or gross merchandise volume, down from 7.69 billion to 7.63 billion. It's always a scary prospect when you have new sellers coming to the platform, you have an influx of fresh inventory, and your gross merchandise volume, or the amount of inventory that's actually been sold, is on the decline. And we've seen this, again, I believe my buddy Darren, he's in the comments somewhere, he told me that it's 5 quarters in a row that this has been going on for now. And I got reason to believe the guy. He knows his numbers. On top of that, classifieds revenues are down 269 million down to 248. It's no surprise to anyone that classifieds is going to be struggling right now, just because of the simple fact that people don't want to meet other people. It's just kind of the name of the game right now. There's a little bit of fear in regards to that. On top of that, we heard a lot of information about managed payments, and we're going to have a lot of information about that moving forward after this. But managed payments, boy, oh, is there a lot of tension going on with that. I was very, very surprised to hear the number of members on managed payments. Because if you were to take a guess, if somebody said, hey, Jay, how many people do you think are on managed payments right now? I'd say, well, I don't know, maybe 150, 250,000. I would have to believe it's got to be at least that many. 32,000 members on managed payments. Now, this is partly due to the fact that they are under what we call an operating agreement with PayPal. So as they separated from PayPal, PayPal said, "Hey, we'll separate, but you're not going to bring everyone over all at one time. We don't want our stock to suffer, and we don't want you to get that much gain." So they've been throttled out as far as what they can do. When we had eBay open as of the middle of 2019, they were stuck at 5%, and the operating agreement now allows them to move to 70. We've seen expansion out in those areas, but now we're starting to see the real big push for the Americas market to get moved over to managed payments. On top of that, the timeline, and we've talked about this before, we've seen this end zone, this timeline get pushed further and further back. And the reason that's been happening is because, well, we got Corona going on. The timeline, as far as I knew it previously, was the end of July. We were talking July 31st. They said everyone needs to be on managed payments. That's just how things need to go. Now, I've heard some new chatter, and on the call, the phrase was, it's actually used twice. They said that they plan to have everyone on it by the end of 2021. So that leads me to believe that we may have a little bit of leeway time. We know that they're doing pre-registration right now, and there's a bunch of people, including myself, who do not plan to pre-register and do not plan to switch. I am going to push as hard as I can because I want to ask and answer the question, what happens if I don't? And now we do have some terms of service information regarding throttling of sales, throttling of listings, inability to sell, money getting stuck on hold. But I really want to see what happens. I want to see how far I can go before I actually have to make that switch over because I'm in firm opposition of it. And I'll be honest with you, I think that this could be a really bad thing for eBay. And we're going to talk about that here in just 1 second as well. There was also a lot of emphasis on ad spend. Those of you who don't know, there's two different types of ads on eBay. You have your first-party ads and your third-party ads. First-party ads is when somebody like the ASPCA places a little ad somewhere on an eBay listing. You guys have seen those. Or you get that really hot girl in those, short shorts leaning against the solar panel trying to sell Vivint brand solar panels. Those ads are everywhere. Now, the amount of money that they're taking in on those has been getting reduced month over month because, well, they don't need it as much. Do you know why they don't need it? It's because we're paying our third-party ads. We pay for our promoted listings, and that's where they're generating a good chunk of their revenue from now. So as we said, starting over a year ago, their goal was to be able to get third-party ads, our money, your money, up to $1 billion a year. They've actually shown a 25% improvement in third-party ads. Now, by the end of today's show, I'm actually going to tell you exactly what you need to do so you never have to spend another single flipping penny on promoted listings. I have done $6.5 grand in volume over the last 30 days with 0 promoted listings. I have moved more than 10% of my inventory over the last 14 days. It has been an insane uptick, and it all has to do with the quality of that audit. And we're going to be talking about that moving forward as well. Thumbs up for beating that bad connection. I'll tell you what, we need a little bit of that. I did another test where at 445 up, or excuse me, down. We can download anything under the sun, but we got 4 megabytes up. Who are the ones getting the invitations to sell masks on eBay? Well, you can get an invitation to sell masks on eBay if you have historically been selling masks in the past. If you haven't been selling masks in the past, reach out to me. I can actually get you into that program. So if you have large amounts of this type of good, and you're willing to sell them at or near MSRP, there's an application process that you can go through, and I can get you in touch with an agent to be able to do that if you have those goods that you would like to be able to sell. Don't you love that? Really off the wall. This is why I research everything. I want to be able to answer any question when it comes my way. But yeah, they're on track for $1 billion of advertising. They said, quote, within a few years. Now, originally, the optimistic play, we heard the call last year, Q2 2019. They said by the end of 2020, they expected to be there. That's not going to happen this year. I think ad spend is going to be at an all-time low because people aren't going to need to spend money right now. Everything's selling if it's done correctly. Earnings per share are also up. There's some chatter regarding dividends, but it really only matters to 2 people who have shares within eBay. Structured data is showing an increase for conversion. And this is such an important thing. This is the most important thing. eBay should be hammering this into everyone's head. Not saying like, hey, yo, give us your item specifics. They need to say things like, give us structured data and you will sell more items. 90% of my presentation regarding the audit and what I have been doing regards structured data and making sure that your data is compliant with not only eBay, but with Google as well. Do you want to sell more items? Yes. Okay. We all do. Okay. Are you willing to put in the work to make sure that those items get sold? Now, we've talked about this before. If you got $1,000 worth of new inventory coming in every day, it's really difficult to justify going back and fixing all your other listings that are already online. You're like, why am I even going to do that? Those items need to get out the door. And just saying, oh, I'm just going to throw more stuff on top is very foolish, because every month that you let those items sit there, you're paying for them. If you have 500 items that didn't sell this month, it's probably cost you anywhere between $50 to $100 just to let them sit in your own house. Think about that. You're paying storage, presence online to have items in your house that are not selling. So by adding that structured data, it's going to really increase your velocity. And this isn't just eBay saying it, Google's saying it as well. And I'm telling you, if you're not going to believe eBay and Google, you should believe me. On top of that, they've raised the number of saved searches that you can do. It's been raised up from 100. I don't understand why that was an issue before, but apparently it's been raised up. And then they made a very, very light mention regarding a company called SpeedPack. It's part of the whole Orange Connex thing before. They said that SpeedPack has helped protect Chinese sellers because it's enabled them to be able to get their items here quicker. On top of that, and this is basically the cliff notes of an hour-long shareholder call. I recommend no one listen to these shareholder calls because they are incredibly boring, and a lot of it's very difficult to digest. But here, I'll give you these cliff notes so that way you have them. What else do we have going on? They're also listening to some chatter regarding the classifieds business. They're seeing what it can take to be able to get some interest in either some movement and possibly getting it sold or possibly getting some partners on it. It's hard to say what's going to happen, but they said that there's going to be some details by the next call. Another thing that I found really interesting, because they did talk about the Chinese sellers, but they did also talk about the American sellers. They said that there is limited disruptions within the American market because a lot of sellers, i.e. me and you and our everyday type sellers, do not have setups where a single point of failure can completely destroy our business. Yeah, I can't go out and get inventory, but guess what? I got tons of back stock. Oh, I didn't have back stock. Well, guess what? I have lots of things around the house I can sell. I can't get to the USPS because, I don't want to go outside. Okay, they'll come to me. There's not many places where your business can fail you right now where you have to sit back and say, well, I can't sell on eBay anymore. The coronavirus isn't affecting people like me and you that way, which honestly, we should consider ourselves exceptionally fortunate that we can still work through this period. But it's about time that the everyday reseller got a bit of an advantage within the market. To be completely honest, nothing makes me more excited than knowing that 98% of Chinese sellers in eBay were struggling to get their inventory over here in America. And they did touch base on that on the call and basically talking, American sellers are moving volume at an accelerated rate because why? There's less competition. Simple as that. There's less people who have available goods. We're seeing interruptions with things like power supplies and cables, remotes, batteries, you name it. These items aren't making them here at a rate that actually means something to the consumer. And on top of that, we're seeing a lot more American consumers look towards buying American goods. They want to get them fast. Somebody had actually talked regarding this, talking about how Amazon has become increasingly inconsistent with their ability to get their items out to consumers. But because we as eBay sellers are fully in control of the rate at which we ship stuff out, we have the power to be able to control that throttle. And in turn, we're satisfying customer needs at an accelerated rate over our competitors over at Amazon. So right now, American sellers are truly positioned to take advantage of this opportunity. Now, while I'm thinking about it, I cannot stress this. Really, thank you to everyone who took the time to be here. This is a really odd stream, but it means a lot that you're here. Candy Flip Records was talking earlier about positioning yourself to be successful within this period of time. The important thing to know, and I've talked about this for months and months and months. What did I say 2 months ago? I said, now's your time to buy, get as much stock as you can get before we come into this pandemic. That's the only thing I was preaching. I said, do not list a thing yet. Buy as much as you can possibly buy. Okay? The average eBay seller has too long of a handling time. I have a 3-day handling time, but if you go look at my feedback, my number one comment is fast shipping. Self to be able to have a ton of inventory when people start needing inventory. What happened? Everyone needed inventory, and things started flying off the shelf. And what did I say? A month ago, I said, build up as much capital as you can. Position yourself to take advantage of the market as it starts to shift. And I have the pre-recorded videos are on my channel, a chat with Jay Kraft. Go watch them. And I said, position yourself to be able to take advantage of the need that people have for money right now. Everyone needs money. I need money too. But guess what? I'm a gambler. I'm willing to gamble my money on your inventory and believe that the market is going to turn to where I can make a significantly larger profit on my commodity by being willing to wait and position myself correctly. If you haven't done so, liquid as you can from your house. I have free weights worth a lot of money. I have extra cameras worth a lot of money. Liquidate these goods that people are desperately wanting, and that's reflective in the amount of money that they're spending. Get as much capital put together as you possibly can. Hold on to it. Sorry, I had a message come in. Hold on to as much money as you can, and then position yourself to be able to really capitalize and scoop up massive amounts of inventory for, 5, 10, 20% on the dollar from where it was just 60 to 90 days ago. Forgive that tangent, guys. That was an important thing for me here to go on. They did even say, too, regarding classifieds, we were talking about how other brands were interested in them. They said that they expect the recovery period of Corona to show a massive boost in sales. And they said, we're talking about sales of goods on the classified platform. They said that they saw the same thing happen in 2008, which was a really interesting thing to talk about. We're talking about the real estate crash. We're talking about the downturn of the market. And they said after that happened, when we got into the recovery phase, what did we see? We saw a ton of cars being sold on the classifieds pages. People were trying to free up capital, but doing it a little bit later rather than a little bit early. I understand some people are going to be more willing to get rid of goods they have around the house before they're willing to get rid of that second car that they have in the driveway. But again, if you position yourself to in a place where you have, I don't know, 5, 10, 20, $30,000, and maybe even go as far. I'm thinking about taking out a PayPal working capital loan just simply to execute on a buy later this week. If you need 20, 30 grand to pick up a handful of cars that are maybe running 30, 40% below Blue Book, and you camp on them for a month, don't even put them under your name, and then transfer the registration across, hand the person the same thing, and cash out. That's another great way of making massive amounts of money. But the market's, it's literally everything is your oyster right now. You can go into any store and everything's a bolo right now. They said also too, Q2, with Q1, but they said coming into Q2, and they don't like to talk too much about it. They don't like to give any type of future statements, and because they don't want to manipulate the stock value or anything. But they said that the beginning of Q2 was looking very, very strong. We're talking about a potential uptick of 20% growth for the company between Q1, last month of it, third month, March going into April, Q2 or Q1 to Q2. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here in the future. I'm going to look at some of these comments just because I'm curious. Hello, Fat Girl Someone. Thank you for being here today. Every day I'm hustling. Mr. Exquisite, Rhiannon, everyone for being here. I truly do appreciate it. She says they used to do that in the way Nate had to do one day to get Power Seller or one of those to get the discounts. Yeah, see, I don't actually want any of those discounts because right now to be a top rated, I think it's top rated plus, you have to offer 1-day handling and a 30-day free return. And there's not a chance in hell I'm offering a 30-day free return because I won't even offer a return. I won't even offer you a cancellation. Those of you who are confused, I do not allow somebody to cancel. You send me a cancellation request, I'm shipping you your item because it's set up right now where I don't get my PayPal fees back, and I'm not going to throw away $3 for or $3.30 for every $100 order that somebody changes their mind on. Not happening. This time too was real interesting, as they said that where they dropped the Q&A time down to 20 minutes. One of the questions was, what can you do to keep new customers amidst the COVID pandemic? And they said they want to invest in new buyers, the people that are coming to the platform for the first time ever. They want to invest into them. But they said also, what I found really interesting is they said new buyers generally spend less often. So me and you, the habituated buyers, pretty much everyone who's a seller on eBay is also a buyer. The habituated buyer, we go on there and we do a lot of our little novelty BS items, shopping, bits of clothing and toys and accessories and nonsense for the house. But they said that new buyers generally don't do that. They come there, they get one item they need or two items they need, but they're going to quote unquote hammer these people with to get them to come back. So we're talking push notifications via the app. We're talking email notifications. And by gummit, I wouldn't be surprised if they sent them a piece of mail just to try and remind them about eBay to get them to come back and spend more money. We're also going to see a lot of coupon action happening as well. This is something that we've seen before in the past, them spending some of that ad spend money on coupons. I'll be frank with you, if anyone should be giving out coupons, should be me, direct to the consumer. Before you spend money on promoted listings, consider couponing your customers a little bit. The next question that they had asked that was actually worth talking about is, how is eBay's comfort level about the transition? And we're talking about managed payments getting moved over to it. And they said they have 2 markets that are up and running. They got 3 more that are announced and that they're pre-onboarding customers currently. And the focus is trying to go fast and really emphasize the benefits to the customer. Now, I understand I don't want to be on managed payments. You don't want to be on managed payments, and a large number of the people who are on managed payments don't want to be on it either. Okay, but it is cheaper, and on average, the average seller saves about 10% on their final value fees every month. So if you're like me and you're paying $500 to $600 a month in final value fees, you're going to save anywhere between $50 to $60 each month by switching over to managed payments. But there are a lot of little hidden caveats that we're going to be talking about here shortly once we're done with this segment. They said another thing too is that they have found that the majority of the people who are coming to the platform for the first time are buying a lot of like COVID related items, basically like things that you would want from home. We had those hot BOLO list for you. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show them. I'm going to test the internet one more time right now. But they said that they're seeing people going for those items first and then slowly migrating just a bit to other associative categories, but not doing like your general everyday type shopping on there. But they're hoping to see some more expansion. And they said the C2C, or the consumer to consumer shopping experience, is still down, as they feel that it has to do with people less willing to travel to go out and source and go out and drop off their mail. So we have seen some people stepping away from the market, putting their stores on vacation or extended handling time. And then on top of that, they were asked regarding the level of inventory, and they said that inventory levels feel strong. Now, you know how I gave you a prediction 2 months ago about what you should do and out. I'm going to give you my prediction by the end of the show today about what's going to be happening for the remainder of this month. But I'm going to give you the most important bit of information that I think I could possibly give you. You must be prepared for the collapse on all of the goods that are BOLOs right now. Every single one of them. Webcams, dumbbells, pools, shavers, board games, puzzles, everything that is a BOLO today will collapse harder than you can possibly imagine, because we're getting to a point now where everyone is getting all this stuff. It will all show up at yard sales by the end of the year. If we get up back out and we're done with lockdown, all of this stuff is going to show up at yard sales again. You better, if you bought something yesterday and you haven't listed it and you see another one the next day, you better be prepared to check the price again, because prices are going to tumble so much faster than you can imagine, because there's going to be so much supply available for a market that does not want it. So remember, today's BOLO will not be next month's BOLO. You have to be ready for that. Okay, let's talk, and we're gonna expand upon that too. And there is a right time, okay, to catch these commodities. I'm working a commodity right now, and I am catching it at the most beautiful time I could possibly catch it. I'm watching it right now as it's just barely hitting that absolute lowest point it's ever been, and I'm just waiting for it. I have that strong inclination it's going to swoop up, and I'm investing heavily. minimum of $10,000 I'm investing into this category. I spent $1,000 today on these goods already, and I have 30, 40 pending sellers currently waiting to try and sell me goods. And I'm processing list after list after list of these items. But with these things like puzzles and board games and everything, not gold. Gold is too unstable for me. But if you catch it just that right moment when it's making that turn, and I'm watching that turn right now, it's magnificent. When I'm done doing my buying, I'll go ahead and talk about that product further in detail. Those of you who are patrons of mine know exactly what item I'm talking about. Those of you who don't know, patreon.com/Bowl. You get to see all the deals I'm doing. You get to see a conversation where I negotiated $800 down to $200 using automated messages. I have everything copy paste. Went from 800 to 400. Copy paste. Went from 400 to 200. Closed it up. Okay. Everything is automated. You get to see my messages. I actually did a 30-minute video showing my computer screen and me narrating as I talked with member after member after member, copy pasting, aligning stuff, updating listings. I'm doing all of these things at the same time, and I'm showcasing my workflow. Guys, it's so damn cheap. $20 a month, and you get full access to that. It's wonderful. And trust me when I say this, you are going to learn more than you could possibly imagine if you want to learn. If you want to be that good, it's not that bad. Dun dun. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about regarding the shareholder call. They did also step in and say that that they have increased the quality of listings and the requirements to get them to be a promoted listings. They were having issues with really trash listings from China showing up high in search. They've also made some fundamental changes to not only Cassini, but the way that listings are being displayed. If you haven't noticed on mobile, you'll see a little thing at the top that says certain listings have been removed from this search. And what that means is, let's say you're looking up a camera. You have a really nice Casio camera and you're looking it up, you're not going to be shown 1,000 Casio batteries, 1,000 Casio cables, 1,000 Casio memory cards. You're going to be shown Casio cameras first. And if you want a Casio memory card, you have to type in. People were trying to find creative workarounds. They'll say Casio memory card for HX500, HX600, HX700, just to keyword stuff and get those listings to appear. And eBay's saying, we're done. We're not doing this anymore. Okay, and they're knocking it down because shoppers like me can't find what they're wanting, and guess what they do? We go to Amazon because we can find it faster, even if we have to pay more. We're paying for the convenience and no longer price shopping. eBay doesn't want that. eBay wants to be the cheapest. They want to get the customer on the first time. If a customer doesn't buy something within the first 3 pages, there's like a good 90% chance that they're going to go someplace else. For hints and more details, John, or join the Bolo Patreon. You really got to. I'll tell you. And even if you want to scam, I'm telling you, if you come with me on this ride, we are going to make a fortune. Mark my word right now, okay? And you can hold me to this. By December 31st of this year, by the end of this year, I will make an additional $40,000 on one category of item, one category without leaving my house. The items are getting shipped here, and the items are going to get shipped out of here without me leaving. And if you want to be a part of this, guys, I got a whole course I'm working on. Give me, 30 days, and I'll have the course done. It's going to be beautiful. And I'm going to be sharing with you everything that I've done since I was, maybe 15 to be able to build a brand up. Give me 1 second, guys. I got a little flying critter on my wall over here. Guys, I worked on my backyard this week. I spent 3 hours renovating my backyard. I'm trying to build a little tranquil sanctuary type area to be able to relax and do some work outside in the spring and fall, do a little bit of editing, sit underneath of some of the orange trees. Little did I know that I had disturbed probably something in the area of a couple of thousand earwigs that were hiding under these stones in my backyard, and boy, have they mounted an assault against my house. I have killed at least 40 or 50 over the last week, and I think I'm gonna have to go through and seal the foundation up. That's a story for another day. My next slide, I was going to talk to you about some hot bolos. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to bring them up here on my screen, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about them. I'll even show you the beautiful slides that we had for them as well. We have these little slides, and I know my mic is bouncing around. I apologize for that, but we had that one. We had this one. We have some lovely pieces, and here you can see I'm doing the internet test. It's completely screwed up. But there's a lot of items that are going really, really hot right now. Let me turn this back around. I'm just going to talk with you real brief about it. All of the slides have been uploaded to the Patron Lounge as of 2 or 3 days ago. So if you're a patron, you can go ahead and see it. If you don't want to pay to see it, that's fine. You can go to Jordan Sam's Facebook page, and he went ahead and posted them there as well. He is on Facebook. But I don't think it's actually him. I found his private account. I think eBay's just managing that account on his behalf. But overseeing stay-at-home goods, swimming pools, string lights. I got a lot of string lights. Cornhole bag toss. It's also going to be horseshoes, grills and griddles, skateboarding and longboards. You're going to see all kinds of great items like that going for big money. Webcams are a hot commodity. We actually started talking about webcams over 30 days ago within group chat. And I want to give kudos to Miguel, who's one of the first people to tip us off about webcams. And we were running out. People were getting them for $60, $70, selling them for $150. Headsets, Wi-Fi adapters, lighting kits, office furniture, and speakers. Another hot bolo that's not on this list would be a Camlink 4K. Pretty much anything by Elgato right now that has to do with digital audio or video is going to be on the up. Dumbbells, another hot bolo that was brought to us by Miguel about 30 plus days ago as well. I noticed that there was a shortage of them online when I attempted to buy them, and this was before the first lockdown even began. And then he noticed very quickly after that it become a hot bolo. So if you got old dumbbells, Gold's Gym's dumbbells, I got 150 pounds worth of them downstairs. I'm going to sell all my personal weights, and I'm going to rebuy them when they get cheap, when the market gets hyper saturated and the prices bottom out. I may as well put $200 in my pocket today, and I'll do weights with books on my hands for all I care. Put $200 in my pocket today, and I'll buy them again when they're $15 each down the line. Pull-up bars, 1,800% increase. I saw pull-up bars today online, local pickup, $5 each. I saw 2 different listings. You can pick those up and make great money on them. Kettlebells, benches, resistance trainers, exercise mats, rowing machines, yoga and Pilates equipment. There's so much good stuff. Things for around the house, paint, candles, seeds, air fresheners are on the up right now. And when I say on the up, we're not only talking about an increase in price, but we're also talking a big increase in velocity, the rate at which these items are going to sell. Bread machines are on the up. I made my first couple of loaves of bread the other day. Don't think I ever want to do it again. But take my baking skills and learn how to make muffins, cupcakes, and cookies instead. Brewing and distilling and winemaking, beekeeping equipment. Feel bad about that killer. Do you hear about that killer wasp that landed here in America? Kills 50 people a year in Japan and apparently can decimate a beehive in under 2 hours. Sounds scary. And I'll be honest with you. I can handle a little bit of chaos, but I think we need to wait. I think we need to wait before we get too much more. Scott Thompson dropping it like it's hot with a sweet $2 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Sorry we couldn't connect yesterday. I would have loved to have gone out and thrown around with you. My internet connection is completely screwed right now, so we're using my cell phone. And you know that microphone, the nice one that I had on top of my camera the other day, it also plugs into a cell phone. So we have what I think is good audio. I haven't even, let me see what it sounds like. That's good audio. On top of that, thank you for that $2, Scott. I do appreciate it. I'm definitely going to buy you a meal next time I see you. Sounds great, honestly. Yeah, it's that little, here, I'm going to try and do it without knocking everything over. It's one of these, this little Rode shotgun mic. So I can mount it to a computer, cell phone, or a camera, and great investment. And things like this, little pieces of technology like this wouldn't be available if it wasn't for the patrons. That's how we generate money to be able to do this. And I can afford to take all the time from sourcing inventory and actually put together a show for you guys. Making the best of things, puzzles, sewing machines, 3D printing supplies, Lego, painting supplies, yarn, arts and crafts, all on the rise. Clippers and trimmers. Miguel, again, was real quick to come to the market and let people know about clippers and trimmers being a hot bolo. Styling capes and gowns, scissors and shears, tanning beds and booths. Pretty much anything you can do with your hands right now is going up in value. So those are the types of things that you're going to be wanting to look for while you're out there in the field. VR headsets, gaming controllers, video games are a hot commodity right now. Brand new consoles selling over retail because people don't want to go out and get them. And then another one that isn't a surprise to anyone, yard stuff. Anything that you can put in your own yard. Everything from decor, lights, strings, chairs, barbecues, seeds, bulbs, baskets, pots, window planters, fencing. You said we got them available in our Patreon lounge. They're also available at Jordan Sweetnam's Facebook page. Let me close some of these up really quick. I did have a nice, beautiful slideshow prepared for you guys, but I can't show you that. Okay, let's see what else we got going for today's show. What's new about managed payments, guys? We have to have a talk about managed payments. A Q&A came out the other day. I'm going to drink water and take a breath or two. Hello, Christopher. So, as I said earlier, most people are going to have to switch over come July of 2020 this year, but eBay did allude to the fact that some people, possibly different countries, possibly select sellers, possibly if there's a lot of pushback, if you get my drift, okay, if there's a lot of pushback, then we're going to be looking at the end of 2021 for select sellers having to get on there. So, Jordan Sweetnam's Facebook page, he had apparently been pummeled with so many questions that he decided to release an FAQ. And today we're going to step over that FAQ. I'm going to be taking your questions as well. I have had the opportunity to speak with an informant who worked with the eBay Voices team to get exclusive details regarding eBay managed payments that weren't released to the public. I had worked on a video with him. We actually shot the interview 3 times due to technical issues. But I ended up not releasing it for the simple fact that about 80% of what we talked about ended up getting released just a couple of hours later. So we're going to be talking about that, but if you have questions about managed payments, I pretty much have every single answer that you can imagine. Now is a perfect time to ask them. The first one, are we going to be getting charged a 30 cent per item when they sell? No. This was the original idea that it was going to be per item or per line when you're selling on managed payment. Now it's been moved over to 30 cents per order. So if somebody's buying multiple items from you, you're obviously going to want to have them all on one order because it's going to save you some money, but it's no different than PayPal's 30 cents per item transaction fee over there. Is global shipping program currently supported on managed payments? Yes, but just barely. They had not had it working for quite a while, but it's just recent now that GSP is being supported. Is eBay Charity going to be supported by managed payments? Eventually. We're probably about a month to 2 months out. They've been struggling to get that going as well. How are payments handled when eBay manages payments? Verbatim, payments are sent directly to your linked bank account, eliminating the need to transfer funds from another payments provider. We consistently initiate payouts to your bank account within 2 business days of an order confirmation, regardless of how the buyer paid. You can schedule payouts weekly or daily as funds are available. I plan on doing weekly payouts when I am forced, and I mean it, forced to go on to there just to I don't know. I don't need to see 40 transactions come into my account each day. Now I do want to answer one concern a lot of people have come to me with. I don't want to give them my bank account information. Will I have to if I want to be on managed payments? Yes, no. Okay, there's 2 parts to this answer. If you have a bank account and you don't want to make another bank account, yes, you're going to have to give them that bank account information. If you have no problem setting something else up and you want to have a different account, you can either open up another bank account or there is a provisional card that you can get that comes with a routing and account number. I don't want to talk about it on air because I don't want everyone running out and doing it, but if you need details on that, send me a message. Bolorama.com is our business page. Send me a message request. I promise you, 100% of people get responses from me. I will send you all the details you need to be able to get set up on managed payments without giving them your bank account information. No one else is doing this. So message me. I'll take care of you. Okay? Why can't I get funds the same days like I do today in PayPal? Long story short is that PayPal has been front-loading payments for everyone. They basically make the funds available immediately and say, okay, if there's an issue, we'll deal with it later. eBay isn't willing to do that because one, I think they make money just by holding our money. Okay, so they're going to collect some interest on the money that they're holding for 24 to 48 hours. And 2, they're not technically a bank. They're not. I think it's like a fiduciary. They're not handling money in that capacity. And I don't think that they want to get that type of association as a bank. The verbiage regarding Audit has pretty much been stripped clean from the American payments processing end of things, and it looks like eBay is taking on a much more serious role in managing these payments. Basically, eBay is saying we don't want to take the risk. And now there is a different answer. I'll give you their answer. You have the option to schedule payouts to your bank account weekly or daily. As funds are available, you can choose your payout frequency in the payout settings Seller Hub within the payments dashboard of Seller Hub. Where did they answer? Why? That's the thing about it. Next question was, when and how can I get my payouts? That was answered just a moment ago. Really important one here. How will, starting late July, you will pay only one final value fee consisting of your category-based percentage fee of the total amount of the sale plus a fixed fee per order with no third-party payment processing fee. Your final value fee will be automatically deducted from your sales, proceeds, and the rest paid out to your bank account. Yes and no. Again, and I hate to be so shitty about it, but here's what's happening. Okay, so let's take a category like books. Currently, you're paying 12% to sell a book right now. You pay 12% to eBay, and then you pay 2.9% to PayPal plus 30 cents. Okay, so what's happening is they are getting rid of that end of things, and they are increasing the final value fee on every single category. And this is the secret info I got for you. It's going up by 2.35% per category. So books are no longer going to be 12%, they're going to be 14.35%. Things like pro audio, guitars, pianos, stuff to that effect, 3.5%, going up 2.35. That's 5.85% is what you're going to be looking at within that category. So all categories are going to see a 2.35% increase plus the 30 cents, but no payment processing fee separately as you have it with PayPal currently. Now, what gets really confusing, because eBay is really greedy, we're paying on the front end and we're paying on the back end, but we can't pay both at the same time because we pay the front end every single month. So what that means is that when, let's say you sell this really nice ice pack, and if you're wondering why I have this, I punched the crap out of my desk because I was so frustrated that I could not get this internet to work. I spend days preparing this show. So I grabbed me an ice pack. Let's say I sell this ice pack, sell it for $20 on eBay, okay? And it's a category where they're going to take, 10% after the increased fee. So it's 7.65% plus 2.35% brings us to 10% total. They're going to take the $2 out of that, and then they're going to $2 plus a 30 cent for the transaction. So I'm going to lose $2.30 of $20, which leaves me with $17.70. I will have $17.70 transferred to my bank account within generally 2 business days, but could be as much as 4 to 5 business days. Now, here's the odd rub. Nowhere was my insertion fee taken. Nowhere was a percentage of my store fee taken. Nowhere was my promotion taken. I still have to pay an invoice every month. My invoice is going to include listing, promotion, and any type of bonus stuff, bold titles, photo galleries, and other nonsense like that. Everything but the FFV, the final value fee, is going to be included within that invoice. So you're going to have money coming in, or they're going to give it to your bank account. But then from there, you can pay with whatever form of payment you want to pay the other end of things. Now, there is concerns regarding your ability to get your labels. If you're doing them through eBay, you can draft. Apparently, you can draft against the money that you have coming in on the transaction to cover the cost of your eBay label. Again, I must emphasize, if you are concerned, if you are concerned about your ability to pay for shipping labels and you cannot wait 2 to 3 days to be able to get your money to pay for a shipping label, you really need to seriously reconsider how you are managing your business. You have to have liquid funds on hand to cover your day-to-day operations. If you don't have it, don't eat out for a week, okay? Put together $100 so that way you have some form of slush funds to be able to deal with these types of changes within your evolving business. If you would like to consult with me, okay? 5 people this week, okay? Any 5 of you who want, I'll give you an hour for consulting time. Just send me a message, bolorama.com, say I'd like to take advantage of your offer. We can talk about your brand, your business, what you need to know about managed payments, bolos, whatever you want to talk about. First 5 people who message me and ask for it. Will I still get a monthly invoice? Yes. Insertion fees, feature fees, subscription fees, and other fees will continue to be invoiced on a monthly invoice. Why did I not get the email for managed payments? If you don't receive the notification right away, there is no other action required at this time. We will notify sellers who current use of features and reporting are fully supported with managed payments. It says that it'll be enabled for most within 2020, and all sellers will eventually be required to have eBay managed their payments in order to sell on the marketplace. It's really, really weird to me the amount of control that we've given them at this point, to where they're dictating the type of photos we have to have, the structure of our titles if we want to get any relevance. They can hide our listings if we don't. The types of return policies we need to have in place. Now they're going to be handling our money as well. I was talking with somebody else about this. I don't understand why I just don't box everything up and mail it to them. Just say, hey, you take care of the rest. Wait, we have Amazon for that, don't we? Yeah. See, the thing is, if the fees start getting too high and they bundle these things together and they say, well, it's 2.35%, of that is going to be your transaction fee. It doesn't take much. This is where the really scary thing is. It doesn't take much on books to go from 14.35% to say, hey, this seller update, we're just going to make it 14.85%. We're just going to bring it up a half a point. And then maybe in a year they do another half a point. Or they say, oh, we're just raising it to adjust for inflation. We're raising it to adjust for fluctuations within the currency. Right now the dollar's strong, doesn't benefit us any, but what if the dollar ends up getting weak? Okay. And then the other thing that people don't realize too is if you are underperforming within a category, eBay is still taking 5% from you when you underperform. I'm underperforming in collectibles. I've sold 161 collectibles. Of that, 4 of them have had return type issues. That puts me at 2.23% of my orders are underperforming, but apparently my category as a whole is 0.4%. Apparently I'm doing 5 times worse than everyone else because in 12 months I've taken 4 returns. And this is the real issue. eBay has the ability to just kind of turn that knife and stick you real hard for no good reason. Next question, can buyers still use PayPal? Of course, with eBay Managed Payments, your payments buyers can pay with credit, debit, and gift cards, Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal, and PayPal Credit. No, you cannot use PayPal, and this is the type of deceptive language that gets people really not only upset, but very confused as well. When they say now they're talking about buyers here, but it just creates this level of confusion for the market that we don't need. The next one, do I have to open a bank account? No. Yes, you do. You have to have one. It says no, you do not need to open a separate bank account. Proceeds from eBay sales, regardless of the payment option used by the buyer, will be directly deposited to your bank account. If you don't have a bank account, there are workarounds, but most likely you're going to have to open one. Is eBay increasing fees with managed payments? All your fees are combined into one simple and easy to calculate rate without any third-party payment processing fees because they bundled it in, 2.35%. Most sellers can expect to see overall savings, which is technically true. Things to keep in mind. Chris Beede, Chris Beede, $5 super chat. Thank you, my friend. More fees, rather give you the money. Thank you. And I can promise you I won't waste it on ad spend like other people do. But no, that's truly appreciated of you. I wonder if you guys like this casual setup a little bit more, because I haven't had a show with 2 super chats in almost 2 months now. But welcome to the show. I know we have a lot of first-time watchers here because so many of you saw my last show, my last video talking about secret changes happening to your account. I think that's why there's so many of you here now. But thank you for being here, and I appreciate you sticking around and learning some more. The amount of undercover videos that I'm working on right now is disgusting. But, it takes so much energy to make a good video. It can take 20, 30, 40 hours sometimes. So I'll get to all of them soon. But again, Chris, thank you so much. That's pretty much all I had to say on managed payments. Now we're getting to the good stuff. Now we're getting to the stuff for the 42 of you who stuck around and decided to continue watching. We're going to talk about how I can help you make more money. And we're not just talking about a little bit of money. My sales volume is up 178% over month based over what's happened. I'm blown away with the amount of volume that I've had, the amount of money that I have made from making fundamental changes to my store. If you missed out on last week's show, go watch it. I did the first half of it. But if you're not going to watch it and you're going to be lazy, get a little bit of info today. I will be making a dedicated video on the topic of store audits. I'm going to do it inside of my garage, and I'm going to walk you through everything that you need to know. I don't remember where we left off. I haven't looked at these notes in 2 weeks, so we're going to try and figure it out. I'm going to take a sip of some water really quick, and we're going to keep on keeping on. Also, if you haven't joined our Facebook community group at facebook.com/groups/Bolorama, check it out. Okay, so where did we leave off last time? Does anyone remember? I know we talked about UPCs. I said it's important to include your UPC if you have it. If you don't have your UPC and your item is worth more than, I would say, $30, take a moment and try and find it. It may seem dumb, but if you type in Wacom drawing tablet UPC, more often than not, you're going to find what you're looking for. And it takes no more than 30 seconds to add a UPC to an item. It can be the determining factor as to whether or not that item sells. Speaking of that Wacom tablet, I sold one today for $50. Now, that tablet had been listed for $34.99, $29.99 on sale, $26.50 on sale photo, made all the other changes that we're talking about today, added UPCs, correct descriptions, product identifiers, correct weights, yada, yada, yada. It sold for $49.99 yesterday. Okay, it's not by accident, it's not by chance, it's by making the correct changes. I think that bug actually got out of the damn napkin. It's about making the actual correct changes to be able to maximize the margins on your store. Because as I said, if you have items on eBay, you want somebody to buy them, right? Sitting in your warehouse, you're paying every single day to have those items sit there. Next one. Condition. Make sure you have the correct condition for your item. If you don't have the correct one, it's going to burn you. And this is a good opportunity. I want you to know I stepped through and looked over 600 items on eBay. I think it was 620. I currently have, since then, I have sold 100 different items since the last time we spoke about this. And a majority, well, pretty much all of them were ones that were revised, but I moved a lot of items that had been on the platform for a very long time that had almost no interest whatsoever. You left off on saturation and brightness of pictures. I got you. Okay, enhancing your photos. So, we're talking about making sure that you have them formatted, cropped in, looking good, the right rotation, the right brightness. Look over all your photos, but your first photo is the most important one. It's the one that eBay looks at to determine whether or not it's a quality listing to be able to push it through to Google Shopping. If eBay doesn't like your photo because it doesn't meet the specifications and requirements for a good photo, guess what? They will not serve it to Google. Google is getting very picky about what they want. What is the most important thing about your photo on eBay? That white background. Okay? If you do not have a white background, you are doing a strong disservice to yourself and your ability to rank on eBay. Black backgrounds rank significantly lower than white backgrounds. I don't care what you're working with. Okay, I don't care what the category is. Go do search online right now. Tell me how far you have to scroll before you find a black background photo. It's not going to be in the first 4, not going to be in the first 8, not going to be in the first 16. Not if we have an actual, buy or seller pool of items. Okay, but making sure that your photos are good, and then make sure your photos actually tell the correct story of the item. Shitty angles do not sell photos or sell items. So if you have a bottle of vitamins, okay. You don't want to take your photo so it's at some horrific angle. Okay, you don't want that. You don't want your slanted bottle. You don't want top down where you can't see the face. You want a nice, clean, bright, accurate reflection of what you're actually doing. We're gonna do a dedicated video on taking quality photos on a budget. Okay, my photo setup is a $60 setup. It's the one I've been using for 15 years. I am ready to upgrade though, but all the items I've sold over the last 15 years of my life have been done on a $60 photo setup and a $100 camera. It's built into an iPad. That's what I've been using, and it works. Okay? Could additional photos help your item along? Did you capture all the angles and information that the buyer needs? Now, if you're like me and you're using an iPad to take your photos and then you're coming to a computer later to be able to finalize the photo, you can take reference images while you're working. If I've got 4 of these for sale, my last image is going to be this for me as reference when I'm coming through to do it. Okay. Also going to make sure that I get a really crystal clear image of the UPC. That again is for me when I go through to finalize my listing. You don't have to do it all in one space. You can move around, you can put a movie on while you're doing it as well. Now we're going to talk about item specifics. This one is super important. eBay talked about this, but I don't think you get how important it is. So if somebody types in, we're just going to use vitamins. I don't know if this is a valid. Okay, let's talk about this shirt. Okay, I go online and I'm looking for shirts. Now you could have this exact shirt for sale. This is the shirt I want to buy. Okay, and I type in men's button-up T-shirt. Okay, now your shirt is somewhere within that search, but that search is 250,000 items. Okay, do you think you're going to be on the first page? Probably not. Literally trying to win the lottery if you're going to do that. So me as a consumer, I want this shirt. What can I do to try and help me find this shirt? Well, first thing, I'm going to select my size. So I'm going to go to the size, I'm going to click large, okay? Wish it was medium, large. Now the thing is, if you have not added large to your item specifics on the item you are selling, guess what? You don't appear, no matter what. The moment they click large, you are immediately plucked out of search. You cannot appear within that search, unless you have that selected. If you have that selected, great. Now I'm looking for a specific brand. I think this is Tilly's. Okay. If I punch in and there's a brand drop down, I click on Tilly's and you have not selected your brand for the item, guess what? You will not show up. You will not show up in Google either. Okay. All of these, we call them left-hand refinements, are important. This material, this is woven knit. If I want to buy woven knit shirts, I would love to be able to just select woven knit. Now, if you do not have that selected, you will not appear in that search. So as consumers are coming to the platform and their buying dollars are starting to get stretched a little bit thinner, they're coming in, they're looking for very specific things, and they want to find them fast. They want the convenience and the ease of finding items quickly. Your job is to help consumers find your items, okay? It's, I don't know. If somebody walks inside of a store and they say, hey, can you help me find some woven knit shirts? And you just say, clothing's over there. Sure, they might find it, okay? But if you say, let me take you to exactly where woven knit shirts are, here you go. This is what we're talking about, okay? All of these things matter. We're talking about year of production, country, language, rarity on an item brand, character family, sets. Is the item graded? What is the material of the item? Is it hyperallergenic? You need to give the consumer every piece of information to encourage them to not only find it, but also buy it. Customers don't like asking questions unless they absolutely have to. But if you can prevent them from having to answer questions by getting them significantly more likely to sell the item. I used to sell newspapers. A lot of people don't know this. In 1 year, I made over $100,000 selling newspaper subscriptions for the Bakersfield, California newspaper. One of the easiest jobs that I've ever had, but frankly, it got a little boring after a while. And I created my very own sales pitch to be able to move these products. But the whole goal of the sales pitch was to make sure that I answered all questions for the consumer. So at the very end, when I said, can we go ahead and get you set up with that today? And hit them with my biggest shit grinning smile, that all they could potentially do is either tell me yes or no, because there were no questions left for them. They knew when they were getting it, they knew how they were paying, they knew when it was going to get drafted, they knew exactly what days they were going to get, they understood who it was going to benefit, they had all their questions answered. So you want to perceive your eBay listings in that same way. Are you answering all the questions for your consumers so that way they can make a buying decision? Your item specifics are your way of answering those questions, okay? Your item description is equally as important. Are you providing them with necessary information? Now, I get it. Some items are going to speak for themselves. They're not going to need your help. Nobody needs me to tell them again that this is vitamin D3. It's CVS brand. It's already been explained in the item specifics. And just to emphasize even further, if you didn't catch last week's, don't jam garbage in your title, okay? Detailed information like this, the highly specific stuff, goes in your item specifics. It goes into your descriptions. You want to make your listings be the gold standard of quality listings. So eBay looks at it and they're like, oh, that's a great listing. Hey, Google, we got a winner for you here. And then they serve it across. Over 40% of my sales came from Google click-through to sell my items on eBay. And it's been that way for a long time. Now it's even more so. Make sure your listings look the part. And with your item descriptions, when it's necessary, add in information to help close the buyer. These buyers, they're not looking at your listing because they're just looking for something to look at. They're a potential buyer, and you need to treat them that way by welcoming them to your listing, providing them with the information that they need, and making that conversion process as friction free as possible. Your item description should have a pre-fill in it as well. What information would the buyer want to know? Will you come down on price if someone buys multiple from you? Is it a smoke-free, pet-free home? What is your return policy if you have one? Who are you as a seller? Are you working within a niche category where your story can motivate people to buy? I know people who sell crystals. I know people who sell specific high-end clothing brands. I know people who make handmade baby goods. If you have a story, tell your story. Build brand loyalty. My story, I'm an everyday variety reseller who's formerly specialized in storage auctions, but now go out and hand source goods from yard sales and find treasures and make them available to you, the buyer. Okay? Tell your story. This is your chance to engage with the consumer, get them on your watch list, get them following your store, be able to send out marketing emails. I have nearly 1,000 followers on my eBay store, a disgusting amount of people. So when I have a sale, 1,000 people are getting emails to get notified that I'm having sales because I've welcomed them. Great items, great customer service experience, thanking them after as well. Keep those feedback numbers up. Keep those feedback numbers up too while you're at it. Guys, remember, if you have questions, now is a great time to ask them. I think it's safe to say that Jay is the only one that wants to buy that shirt. Thank you. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. So that's what you need to know for item descriptions. The other big important reason why we do these audits, not just to enhance the listing for the consumer, but we also want to make sure that one, we're removing issues within our store, everything from typos. I probably corrected about 15 typos. We want to make sure that we're finding perfect fit categories, but we have to remember that the climate has changed much different. So an item historically that I may have priced in a specific way when first class only went up to 13 ounces, I might be able to price differently now that it goes up to 16 ounces. But then again, I may have had an item that I was historically able to sell for $9.99, but now because of the shipping costs and because it's over a pound, I can't do that anymore. Or even if I had $7.99 items and the shipping costs, because we're on a variable rate and now we're on zone based, if you're shipping from West Coast to East Coast, you say, I can't afford $5.50 to ship this 14-ounce item to the other coast if that happens. This is a chance to pull down dead stock, move it to yard sale, move it to convention piles, and then move those items there. Okay? So here, I'm going to run a speed test again really quick. I'm curious if my internet's fixed. Paid to remove that item. Keep that in mind. If you remove 10 items off eBay, it costs you an average of 30 cents per listing. You make $3 a month to take 10 items off of eBay. If you're like some people and you have way too much garbage on there, if you remove 100 items from your eBay store, that's worth $30 a month, $360 a year. So when you think about whether or not I want to take, because I see people leaving, if you ask yourself, do I want to take the time to fix this? That doesn't really matter to me. Do you want to spend $360 a year per 30 items or 100 items, however many you have up each and every year? If you have a chance to remove items that either simply never going to sell, because let's say everything's right. You have the right picture, description, title, listing, everything's perfect. And you go back and you look at it after 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and you see that you have 10 views, 15 views, 20 views. You might say, hey, this isn't going to be worth $350 a year gamble to have this thing sit on here for 2 years, potentially sell for $12. Okay, you end up losing money then. You have to think about the long game on some of this stuff. Pricing is so important. Okay, I've always suggested that people use sales because markdowns encourage sales to go through. It gives you an opportunity to pass a visible discount along to the consumer. But prices, we're talking things like books, records, CDs, things to that effect. Blu-rays, you name it. They have a very, very fixed price. And a markdown is simply not good enough. If you've listed an item at $15 and later that week somebody comes in, $14.98, $14.97, $14.96, okay? And then during that week, those items get worse and worse and the price starts tumbling down. Within a month, 2 months, 3 months, the price could be more than 10% lower than where it was listed at initially. Meaning if you run a 10% sale, that's not going to push you down further enough to be the cheapest one available online. We talked about perfect pricing before. If you haven't seen a video on it, it's on our business page, Roundup.com. Just click on the free resources tab and click on the high quality training videos. We have a video that teaches you how to price items perfectly. It's complete. Going back through, especially on phono records and items that have fixed prices, and correcting those prices, that's going to make you a ton of money as well. Because an item that is only $1 above what it's actually worth on the platform, and it's going to cost you $3.60 a year to just have it sit there and not sell. That same amount of money that if you just reduce the price down by $1 means it could get out the door. If it doesn't sell for a Blu-ray, it was $15, and when I checked it again, $7.88. I lost $7.20 for the 2 years that it sat up there, and I'm going to be lucky if I get $2, maybe $3 for that Blu-ray at a yard sale. I lost a ton of money on that one because I probably paid $3 to buy it as well. Okay, I'm probably a good $8 out of pocket on a $15 item. No one wants that. It's a learning lesson for me as well. Got a question in here. L. Hall, thank you for commenting. Do you have a profit that you would expect to get before you list? I have a profit that I would expect to get before I buy. Now, that varies per item. So something that would be very light, something very first class type item, chapstick or something small, I can work on smaller margins because my ship cost is going to be very fixed. If it's something that I'm buying in quantity, if I'm getting 50 of something, I'm willing to work on smaller margins because I'm going to get paid every single time one sells. I only have to make one beautiful listing. Each person's profit that they want is going to be indicative on the business that they operate. Me personally, I do not like to list an item for less than $13.99. Okay, if it's a first class item. And that's under the guise that I bought that item for $1. Now, as I said, each person's going to be different. I know some people that say, I won't list something unless I can make $20. Hey, and to them, the way that they do their business or the way that they value their time could be fundamentally different than me. But for me, I have a couple of people helping me now. I can funnel my inventory across. If it costs me about $1 an item to have somebody else list for me. I got somebody too, if you want them, domestic, can do a lot of great work for you. Okay, you can call them 24 hours a day. But if you want a local guy here in America that can handle all your listings and all you have to do is send him photos and he'll take care of the rest, he's your guy. Let me know. But yeah, so each person's business model is going to be unique to them. Do what works best for you. I'm running out of time here, guys. I'm going to kind of power through this last part just because I don't want anyone to miss out on anything. I do want to get off the internet. What do we got? Stop and check your prices, manual, yada, yada, yada. Anyone using Shopify to sell? I am not. But guys, feel free to comment in the comments. Have a good talk with each other. From here, you may also consider removing the items from eBay. When you do remove them, consider either doing yard sales or potentially doing other platforms. Some items that do bad on eBay can do really good on Mercari. Sometimes restrictions have gotten loosened up on Amazon. It might be an Amazon play for you as well. Also consider doing donations with them or potentially using them as gifts to try and motivate or stimulate sales or be thankful and show appreciation to those who have bought. You just want to keep in mind you're reducing your workload and you're reducing your fees by removing these items from the internet. And you're also increasing the overall quality of your store. While you're at it too, verify your quantities, verify your return policies, make sure that you have the actual stock on hand that you believe that you have in quantity that you may not have considered before, taking some of those units and moving them to other platforms. I have certain goods, watches and toys and collectibles that I have 50 to 100 of on eBay, but I can take 10, 20, or 30 of those and just move them to Mercari or move them to Amazon. If you look at your inventory and say, man, this stuff is getting dusty, odds are it's a good time to diversify your portfolio of where you're selling these items at. If you have an item that has been a historically good seller and you've ran down stock levels of 0, now is a great time to try and go online and try and source more of that inventory, whether it be through eBay, Mercari, Amazon, direct to consumer, or direct from consumer, or even using social media groups, buy, sell, trade type places to be able to find those items that you have had good sales history with that you want to get again. Also verify that if your listing needs to be marked as private, that you do it. We're talking about adult goods and fringe type items that people might feel uncomfortable buying, uncomfortable messaging you about. So if you have a fringe type item, make sure that little box for adult good private listing is marked on the item. We're talking things like, obviously, like nudie magazines and videos. We could also be talking about items like that might depict swastikas or what's that other flag that people got their panties and twist over, the Confederate flag. We're talking things like that. You want to err on the side of the caution for the buyer, and make sure that that's not one of the reasons why they're not pulling the trigger on an item. On top of that, you also want to make sure your payment methods are correct. Okay, whether you're on managed payments, whether you're doing it straight from the consumer, but make sure the email on that account is set up correctly. Even if it's off by a character, you won't be able to get the money. L Hall, thanks. Just so many things to list that may need to go to a yard sale instead. If there's not much profit in it, I'm not very motivated to list it. Exactly. So you need to ask yourself. Let's say you have your vitamins, and you look at if you have this item, if you own them already, and you're essentially into them for nothing at this point. If you own them, and odds are you'd be willing to give it away to a friend if they wanted it. You have to say, am I willing to spend 10 minutes? That's what you're expecting. 10 minutes per item to photograph, list, item specifics, place it on a shelf, pull it from a shelf, pack it, ship it, drop it off at the post office. Every item is probably going to take about 10 minutes of your life per sale. What is 10 minutes worth to you? For some people, they'll spend 10 minutes to make $2. Other people, they must make 10, some must make 20. So ask yourself, what is your time worth for what you're going to have to put into the item? That's pretty much how you find out. But don't get stuck with garbage. Don't list up stuff under the impression that, oh, someday this will sell and I'll get this money, unless you really know what you're doing, because you'll spend money on fees you don't need to spend on them. Verify your return settings. Make sure it's done correctly. Make sure you have immediate payment turned on all of your listings that are applicable for it, which is your bin opposed to your auctions. Make sure you have the right shipping option selected. And this is a big one. This is a big one no one talks about. Make sure you have the correct weight of your item on your item. If you're like me, and you're a lazy jackass, and you just said, oh, I'm just going to click sell one like this, and I'm going to leave all of this blank because I just don't care. If you're using Global Ship Program, and you cloned a listing, and the last person said the item was 10 pounds, okay, and it's a 10-ounce item, but they put 10 pounds because they're just being stupid, guess what? Your Global Ship customer who wants to buy the item is going to see a 10-pound quote. You're going to price your consumer out, and they're not going to want to buy your item. Having the wrong weight on your item can cost you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a year. Correct your weights on your items, and you just got to get close, okay? It's not going to affect the domestic consumer if you're doing free shipping, okay, which I do. We call it command and conquer. What do I call it? Combine and conquer? I don't remember. But your shipping cost plus your item cost together with free shipping, penny under your lowest comp. If you're doing that, having the correct weight is very, very important for your Global Ship customers. Oh, I think I'm going to sneeze. Whew. So right there. This is the thumbnail I should have used. This face of me dying. Oh. Incorrect shipping methods can cause unhappy customers as well. You don't want somebody overpaying for shipping, feeling like they got screwed on shipping, and then leaving you a negative feedback that you can't do anything to remove either. Lastly, guys, I must say, do not promote your listing under any circumstances. A properly made listing does not need promotion to sell. If it's the right price, good photo, good description, item specifics, no promotion is necessary. I am at 0%. I have one item. I have 100 of these limited edition office watches, okay, and I want them to sell already. I got 100 of them. I have them at 7%. But all of my other listings, 0%. I don't need it to make them sell. So that's important. And then lastly, once you've corrected your listings, you're not going to have to go back again and fix them. Once they're done, unless eBay rolls out more item specifics, but I just can't think of any more than that. Guys, that's everything. That's truly all of it. I really don't have much extra information. I do want to thank the 2 new patrons that we got. We have Christopher and Louise. Thank you so much for being new patrons. I want to say thank you to all of our existing patrons as well. Without you guys, this just simply wouldn't be possible. Patreon.com/Bolorama, guys. It's less than $1 a day. $1 a day. Direct access to help. But you get help anyways for free. If you got a problem, message me. I'll help you out for free. I don't care. But if you want to support the show, you have no idea how much it means to me. Keeps us on air, keeps us chucking forward. Make sure that we get good information out there to the public. Because a lot of bad information floating around. When Jordan Sweetnam himself has to say, we're going to make this post just to dispel any bad information on the internet, you know things are getting kind of bad. If you haven't seen the video regarding secret changes to your account regarding price gouging, I recommend you check it out. Guys, every day, I wish I had a daily show. Every time I end my show, I like to talk to people about things that are important to me. This has been a very interesting time for me. We're all going through the same COVID and Corona and all that other nonsense and BS. But it's important to stay adaptable. You have to understand these things are going to happen. Okay? Are we going to get to a point where we're going to have to push and fight back and stop the man from controlling all of our freedoms? Maybe. But in the time being, we just have to make the best of our situation. Get your work done. Get your death piles done. Start making money. Trust me. Position yourself well, and you will have enough inventory coming in to satisfy you for the next year. I may have 2 years worth of inventory coming in over the next 30 to 60 days. It could be that ridiculous. I may even be flying out of the state to go check out inventory. It is that ridiculous. Position yourself well and make some money come in. If you don't know how to source from home, take the time to learn. Plug into some training programs. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Training course is going to be coming up here soon. It's going to be expensive, okay? It's going to be $300 a head. Now, I know that seems like a lot. Patrons who got in before last week, you will not pay a penny to be a part of it. But I will teach you how to make an additional $15,000 to $40,000 a year working from home. It's just that easy. And I'm going to teach you all how to compete against me. That's why I want to get paid. Become adaptable and be ready for these changes as they continue to happen to all of us. Remember, call your friends too. If you guys didn't see that Parks and Recreation special that came out the other day, they had a calling people around you. Call someone you know, and when you get off the phone with them, tell them, hey, I want you to call somebody else that you know. It's important that we stay in touch with each other, even if we can't meet each other in real life. Pick up the phone, maybe even do a video call, have lunch with somebody that's close to you, and let them know how important they are in your life. Don't slack off just because the rest of the world is slowing down. This is your time to put the pedal to the metal and really change things for yourself moving forward. Guys, this has been a very interesting reseller roundup, yet again, with technical issues, but that's okay. I'll be back in 2 weeks, as I've got quite a bit of work ahead of me. If you need me between then and now, you know how to find me, bolorama.com, for all of your reselling needs, where reselling is made far simpler than other people may think it is. Thank you so much for watching this special episode. And remember, if you don't make that money, someone else will. Here, let's play the music in the background. Can we hear it? No, we can't. Have a great night, guys. It was so much fun. I'll talk to you here soon.